Well, good morning, folks. Today, I welcome you from probably what is arguably the most famous landmark on the south coast, certainly at Dorset anyway, and that's Door. I have been on and off here for years and years and years, and I have got some good shots from here before, going right back to my days where I first got into digital photography. And actually, when I go back and look at them images now, you know, a lot of them are not great. They're soft. I had a D400 and I think I had a Sigma 10 to 20 or something, and that was soft as hell, that was. So I've never really got a shot that I've been particularly happy with down here. But yeah, I just thought I'd come down here today. I've got my Intrepid 4x5. I've got my rollback, although I have got 6 sheets of Portra 160, which I picked up yesterday from Bristol Cameras. And yeah, I just thought I'd come down and shoot in glorious 4x5 on the Intrepid and see what we get. I have got a couple of 120mm film, so I've got the Delta 400 for a bit of black and white, although I've shot black and white here loads, and I've also got a roll of Cinestill 50D, but I'm not sure I'm gonna use that today. I think I'll probably just stick with the native 4x5 and go down that road. So yeah, so we there's a little bit of a walk down here, not miles and miles and miles, but it is a nice morning this morning. It's not really any cloud about, as you can probably see. It looks a bit hazy and a bit misty in the background, just looking over to Portland and Weymouth. And what I'm hoping for is just a nice sunrise, really, and see what we can get at this location. So yeah, I'll carry on walking down here. So here we are, down at the actual arch at Door. Beautiful as it is. Like I said, I've been here loads of times before, done this coastline to death really, up and down over the years. I've not been, come back here a couple of years ago, actually come with a half, and we sat down here and brought picnic with us and all the rest of it. It was all really nice, but what I have noticed in the time gap that I have sort of not been coming here, which is probably a good 10 years, 7 years, something like that, is that they seem to have turned the top of the where the car park area is and everything into this sort of massive attraction. And I know this is a beautiful spot, but I don't really like what they've done at the top there. There's sort of food stalls, there's masses of parking, it's really expensive. There's gates shutting everything off everywhere. And when I remember, you know, when I was coming here loads, you used to be able to almost drive through the caravan site that was up there and just park on the front. And but now it's all gated off, and there's just, you know, it just seems to be a massive attraction up there really. And those of you who are, you know Door will probably have seen some of the images of sort of people queued up to get up the steps over there, and just sort of it being absolutely packed with people. So it is a huge tourist attraction. So my only tip, if you're going to come here, is make sure you get here really early, and sort of get the shots that you want, and then get out of here before the car park opens and it just gets mad. What is difficult is finding somewhere to park here, because now that they've closed it all off, There's a bit of a coach area, not really allowed to park there, but that's where I parked this morning because I don't really know where else to park. If they leave the gate open so people can come and park here, you know, early in the morning, then great, I'd pay to park, no problem at all. But they sort of shut it off, so there's not really much choice. But anyway, we're going to set the camera up now and see what we can get. What I'm hoping for is for the light to come through the middle of the arch. Again, the shot's been done a million times, done to death. However, I think the sun's going to be rising a bit further around from the arch, so I don't think we're going to get that today. So it might be a bit of a duff day, but we'll get on and set it up and see what it's all about. Okay, so that was a difficult scene to meter, to be fair. Obviously you've got the darkness here, it's never going to see any light in the morning. When the sun sets, it's over there and you get a nice light spread on this, but this morning it's going to come from behind the rocks, obviously. So just trying to get the sky in the background sort of in dynamic range, as well as the rocks have been quite difficult. So I think I've managed to do it, although the rocks are just on the edge of being nearly completely black. So we're going to go for f32. This gives me a second of exposure, so I'll take a frame now and see what we can get. That's it, first shot in the bag. F32 at second, so first one in the bag. Hopefully that comes out. We'll just wait a bit now for the sun to come up and see what we can get. Okay, so I just had to take a really quick shot then. The sun was just poking through the arch there. I think I just about missed it by the time I set this up and focused it, and then obviously did my light reading, but that was a really difficult shot for any film, or to be fair, any digital camera. Although now with bracketing exposures and stuff like that, you can blend them together to obviously get the darker areas sort of with some definition, as well as then the light as well. So it's difficult to film. So what I've had to do is meter for the highlights. And even if I'm not bothered if the rock is silhouetted, which it probably will be. So I literally just quickly metered for the highlight, and then sort of the rest of it hopefully will fall into place. So yeah, I've actually wandered along here to take that direction. The sunlight at the moment is just on the nice white cliffs, and it's quite a nice sort of, just a nice light really. So I'm going to turn the camera around in a minute and shoot that way. But I think I'll just take one more frame here, just while this light is sort of coming through. In fact, no, it's a bit too bright there now. Yeah, so I'll just take another shot here, or I'll just take a bit more time sort of seeing what we got. Yeah, I mean basically the rock is going to be completely and utterly black. Yeah, it's just a difficult shot to meter really, and this might be an utter load of rubbish, but we'll give it a go. So let's go f32, 60th of a second. It's actually f22 and a half. Right, just make sure that I don't double expose my first image. So I'm doubtful that that's going to have sort of come off, but we can only hope. So let's take that out. And that's the second image there in the bag. So I've got 2 more shots left now, so I might take them, in fact I will take them that way. I've never actually shot that way, it's quite nice. So we'll see what we can get that way. Okay, so as you can see, I'm having to work quick here because the tide is coming in quick. And I want to try and get this light on this cliff face while it's still sort of soft. So I'm just having to work quick here. I'm going to end up with wet feet, no doubt. It always seems to happen. Okay, hopefully this scene's going to be a bit easier to manage, given that I'm not shooting directly into the sun, which is now just there. Make sure that's closed. So basically I'm using the line of the sort of where the sea's coming in to sort of lead us into them rocks. And then I'm liking the fact that we've got the arch over there and the sort of column on its own, and then just this beautiful cliff face. So I'm going to get this shot now. Just going to get my film and just do some metering, and then yeah, we'll shoot these last couple of shots. Okay, so gone for a portrait orientation. The others I've just shot were shot in landscape. So this one here, just going to take a meter reading of the rocks. 14 1/3, so I'm going to put that at +1. Going to get wet in a minute. The sky is at 14. The sand is at 12 1/3. And the grass, 12 1/3, 12 2/3, and the sea is at 13. So everything sits quite nicely within a few couple of stops there of dynamic range, so I'm happy with that. So we're going to go f32, 15th of a second, 15th of a second, make sure the shutter's closed. Going to do a test shot. And there we go. Let's wait for a bit of sea to come in and then to recede back. Don't touch my tripod. There we go. Very nice. First shot in the bag. Happy with that. Now, as you can see here, the issue I'm having is the sea is now coming in onto the legs of the tripod. I used to carry CDs around with me when you could actually get CDs, and put them underneath the tripod legs, and that just helps disperse the weight of the tripod, so when the sea comes in, it doesn't move it as much. But what you find, and you just got to be careful of, is when you're shooting, especially if you're doing like a long exposure or something like that, is that when the sea comes in, if it recedes, it's going to move that sand and it's going to shift the tripod, and effectively you'll end up with a blurred image if you're doing a long exposure, or like you say, if you're taking the time to set that up level, you're going to be tilting then towards the sea when the tide comes in. So just something to be wary of. CDs are a great thing just to put underneath your tripod legs, just to sort of help maintain a level base really, or a solid base. So yeah, just a bit of a tip there. But this is just lovely. This is beautiful. I'm half tempted to put the 6x17 back on, see if I can get a pano, sort of just crop in a bit more. Might have a look at that after I've taken this last shot. And yeah, I'm probably more happy with this shot than I am with the actual arch, to be honest. But it's just again, it's just a beautiful morning. It's not too cold. It's about 2 or 3 degrees. You know, the sun's up, as you can see. It's just beautiful. There's not really many clouds about, but again, I'm not really too fussed about that either, to be honest. I'm just enjoying being out, and this scene is just a beautiful scene, really. So yeah, I'll shoot my last frame now, and I'll just have a look through the viewfinder app to see what the 6x17 looks like. Just fire a test shot as usual. Yep. Double check my exposure readings, make sure I've got the right exposure. F32, 15th of a second. Yep, that's all right. Take the dark side out. Make sure there's no camera wobble. Haven't got to shield the lens, obviously, because the sun is behind me. I know my shadow's not in the shot because I've checked that also. Now just wait for a nice wave to come in and recede again, so we get that nice sort of them lines of water coming back. This one looks a nice one. There we go. Last shot in the bag, all done. Looking forward to getting these developed. That's it, last one done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use the Viewfinder app just to see if there's any composition here with the 6x17 back. I think it might be something a bit different, something that perhaps no one's taken before. I've certainly not seen a shot like that. So it might be, there might be something here just by getting a bit lower, getting a bit sort of wider, just a slightly different take. So let's have a look at that now. Okay, so I've just set up my 6x17 back. I've got a roll of Cinestill 50D in there. I've never shot it before. I don't know what it's going to be like. The backing strip is similar to Ilford, where you get the dotted circles and then you get your frame number. So I've just taken a shot there. It is, let's have a look, see what I've shot at. I've shot at f22 1/3 and it's 1/8 of a second. So yeah, so I'm shooting it at box speed at 50 ISO, and yeah, I'm just going to take one more shot here, and then I think I'll pack all this away. I'll make my way up the steps and see the Mano wall on the other side to see if it's if there's a shot there I can get with the 6x17 back on to use the last 2 frames. If not, I'll save the last 2 frames for another day. I don't usually like doing that, but I have got the opportunity in a moment to get out quite a bit. So so I hope you enjoyed that video, a little outing at Durdle Door. This is the Mano Wall, they call this, and it's a beautiful bay. Sometimes you get down here and it's nice turquoise water, and it is a beautiful bay, but I'm not going to shoot it today. I haven't had a look through the viewfinder or anything, but I just feel that, especially with time getting on and the fact that I'm parked in a no parking zone up there, just aware that people might start turning up around now, so better get back to the car. But I've shot 2 frames of Cinestill 50D through the 6x17 back, so I've got another 2 shots to take, which I'll just do on another day. I've taken 6 sheets of Portra 160 on 4x5, so look forward to getting them developed and seeing what we've got. I hope you enjoyed the images that you'd have seen throughout the video, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, a like to it would be absolutely amazing, and a subscription to the channel even better. Please leave your comments, I read them all and I do reply back to everybody. I'm happy to help out, happy to take advice from people also. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and until the next one, I'll see you again.